We've arrived in Greece, and that's been a long haul, that has, from Spain. I feel like we've been at sea for most of the month. We didn't think we were coming back actually, and this is a really nice place. It's the first island that's sort of like north of Crete, south of Peloponnese.
You and me, we're family. The bond that we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, long for the ride. Ho, hey, I'll stay by your side. Ho, hey, you'll always be alright by me. Yes, you're alright by me. Away we
So in some of these Greek islands you have these boutique hotels that do these kind of retreats, and you have yoga retreats and writing retreats, and this particular boutique hotel happened to have an orchestra retreat where amateur violinists and cellists who haven't practiced for a while can go for a week or two and do a final performance at the end of the holiday. So Dari, being a budding violinist, was particularly interested in this. So it's times like this when you see the kids watching group activities that you kind of realise that they are missing out on things like team sports and orchestras and things like that. It makes you question what you're doing sometimes.
Right, so when we arrive in a port, there's always a lot of things to be done. They clean the boat, getting the salt off the boat, and usually we have a nice big breakfast as well because we've been going for days. Yeah, so over here we've got some rinsing going on. This is our new system now. We're rinsing everything in seawater first before we wash it in fresh water. Don't waste it. Washing.
And a knife and a fork fell down into the water. Now Peter's going to get it because he done it.
Okay, so yeah, sometimes we lose things overboard and we have to go and get them.
Do you throw them overboard?
Possibly. He's going to risk his life.
3 euros.
What have we got? Yay!
Treasure. Father. Okay. 3 in one go. How many? 3 in one go.
Of course, we did our usual trick in these places that we've never been to before, and we happened to park on the ferry dock, so we had to kind of move the boat along in order to let the ferry in.
We're always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So Dari, ever wanted to spot a money-making opportunity, raced out there with his guitar to try and do some busking, but he only caught the last few dregs of the people getting off the ferry, so it wasn't as lucrative as it usually is. So when you have crew on board, they inevitably become part of the family, and the kids love to interact with new people. Obviously, mum and dad being on board 24 hours a day isn't that exciting, so new people on board obviously give them some new outlets. Pete happens to have a doctorate in chemistry, so he did take some of the science lessons that we do in homeschooling.
They don't sometimes work by themselves, they need other things.
I hate to perpetuate regional stereotypes, but Pete is a Scouser from Liverpool, and he did also teach them how to fight, and he did actually send them a lockpicking kit after he left as well.
So this morning, Woody goes out for his run, and then the boys say they want to go. So he was a bit far away because he was up here, and I said, well, I'll come and at least until you meet him. We ended up walking up this massive mountain. stunning view of where our boat is. But we haven't started homeschooling yet, so we'll have to do that when we go back down.
So we got woken up in the middle of the night with like horrendous noise. The wind was supposed to be a gentle breeze, 3 knots from the north, and we've got, well, as you can see, it's a lot more than that, and the swell is horrendous. Even though it should be a sheltered bay, the swell seems to be coming in the opposite direction of the wind and swirling round. So we've got real problems on the dock. The lines are really snatching at the cleats, the fenders are rubbing. The guy next door has lost his fenders. So I think we're just going to get an early start. I think we're just going to leave because it's too dangerous to stay in the dock. So we're just filling up with water, get the lines ready and we're going.
Oh, it's so nice to get off that dock. I mean, you can feel the swell out here, but I think because it's one of those circular bays, it was just bouncing back on the dock, so I didn't get any sleep. I think that's why it's so quiet here.
Yeah. That was Kythira, now we're heading to Santorini. Bit of an early start, but we couldn't stay on that dock much longer.
So you filming? So we're going on our final leg from Kythira, hopping along the Cyclades to Turkey. So we were getting a bit nervous because we couldn't find any fresh vegetables, but luckily this guy went to the other side of the island for us, and he stocked up. So we're back in business again. Broccoli, lettuce, and like a whole bucket full of spinach. So yeah, we're really happy. Do you like spinach, Peter?
Love it. Can't wait to have loads.
Spinach, better than a T-bone steak, isn't it?
Yeah. Ice cream? So since we left Spain, I've started to develop this itchy scalp and my hair's falling out. So I think it might be psoriasis. I've always had thin hair anyway, and I think I've always had to deal with that. And then now, it's like double whammy. It's like, okay, forget the thin hair, let's give you something worse than that. Luckily, I've got my friend on board who kind of is very understanding, not like Woody. And she's been trying to help me diagnose it and take care of it. And but it's really difficult because you can't go. I really need to see a doctor, but you can't find a doctor when you're moving all the time. And it's like you've got enough problems trying to find somewhere to anchor and somewhere to get to shore and somewhere to leave your dinghy. Never mind deal with other problems. So I kind of can't wait till I get to Turkey because we're going to stop for a few months and I'm going to try and find a doctor. But it's just the fact that my hair is falling out is really, I don't know how to describe it. It's depressing actually. You know, you have those lepers that people don't want to go near. It is. You look at it and think it's something disgusting, and that's what it is. Nothing can make it nice. I can't shave my head and make it look good. And the kids have been really good because they've been not telling anyone, and they've Rowan's been really sweet because she sort of tells me when my hair's falling out and tries to help me cover it up. Woody's told me that it was sexy, so there you go. You can't pretend it's nice because it's not. The only thing I can do is wear a hat or a scarf and look like a little gypsy girl. That's what I'm going to do.
To Santorini, we're just going around the sheltered side of the island now. There she is.
So we've anchored our boat out from the bay, and now we're getting the bus to Kythira. Gyros at last. Gyros! They wanted the gyros so much, and we're finally getting them.
Gyros!
So we've got the bus from Kythira town to Akrotiri, which is an ongoing archaeological excavation site where this whole population that was living in this golden age was wiped out by the volcanic eruption. So life came to an abrupt halt in the flourishing city of Kythira during the final quarter of the 17th century BC, when its inhabitants abandoned it due to powerful earthquakes and the enormous volcanic eruption that followed. And it's finished the life for everybody on this island.
There was volcanoes and earthquakes, and they buried the people alive. So that means they turned into rock. It would look very cool. And they're like, oh. I saw this statue and I thought it was somebody died, but like it was a famous person. But then it wasn't.
So we left Santorini. I've got to say we were left a bit disappointed with it, and we didn't really get to see much of the island, basically because it was so crowded. I can't believe, I've never been to a place with so many tourists packed into one small space. We kind of cut short our visit there and decided to press on. The other reason we've set off a day earlier than expected is because we've heard from friends that the port authorities around the Cyclades are enforcing this cruising tax which has just come in. And this cruising tax means you pay every month, and we've only got a few days left of this month, and it seems ridiculous paying such a huge sum of money just for a couple of days to spend in the Cyclades. Some friends of ours have been stopped 4 times already, so we just think it's not worth it. So unfortunately we're going to cut our visit short to the Cyclades and crack on towards Turkey. So this is it, we're on the final stretch now into Turkey. We've passed through Kythira and Santorini, through the Cyclades, just above Crete. And now we're just on the final stretch. In 4 hours time we should be in Bozburun on the Turkish coast, which will end our epic journey across the Mediterranean in the last few weeks. So yeah, it's been quite quick, but we're on time, because we've got a few things planned in Turkey. We've got the rigging to do, the sails to do, we want a canopy built and a few other odd jobs. But it means that we can enjoy the rest of the summer kind of exploring this part of the Mediterranean which we haven't been to before, well not by yacht anyway. And the wonderful country of Turkey, which is quite mysterious and exotic, and also got a fantastic reputation for sailing as well. But the only things to watch out for around this part of the coast is the Meltemi, which is the winds that come in from the north. The place we're going to is quite sheltered, so we should be alright. We're going to tie up to the town quay tonight, I think, and swallow that expense just while we sort ourselves out, and then hopefully get checked in. We've already got an agent who's processing our stuff. We run a dry boat when we're on passage, which means we don't have any alcohol. In fact, we don't even drink coffee because it interrupts the sleep patterns and your watch system. So it's a bit of a detox actually when we're doing long passages like this. So yes, we're going to enjoy a couple of Turkish beers and take it easy. I think Turkey's a little less crowded, although this year might be a bit different because as the Greeks introduced their cruising tax, it might mean that everybody suddenly flies towards Turkey, and it might be quite overcrowded in Turkey, who knows. Anyway, we'll report back and let you know how it goes.
My phone has just let me know how much it costs to make calls here, so I know we're here, even though on the chart it doesn't look like we've crossed the border yet, but I think we might be in Turkish seas now. Yeah, so it's pretty good going really. We left on the 8th of May, now it's the 31st of May. That took about 23 days. Everything's pretty much intact apart from the mainsail, which has had it really. Woody just sort of pulled the bottom just to kind of ease it out a bit, and it just ripped. So yeah, it's definitely ready to be replaced. I think we definitely need a new main, and all the others are pretty ragged. So yeah, all good stuff, looking forward to it. Peter's doing the pilotage. We're in a very sheltered bay of Bozburun in Turkey. This is where we're going to check in We've got an agent who's going to be meeting us, and he's going to be doing all our paperwork, and then we might move on from here tomorrow. But yeah, it's a nice place to start off with, really sheltered.
We made it in Turkey, oh my god.
Yes, woo! Are you a happy man?
I'm very happy. I'm going to start the day with absorbing myself in local Turkish culture by having a full English breakfast. We've got 2 fried eggs, fried bread, tomato, sausage, bacon, beans, mushroom, of course HP. Welcome to Turkey.
Who is
Oh God, it's 5 o'clock. Somebody sat on my favourite glasses.
Oh, this is like the model on the boat.
Barely see out.
We're in this very sheltered bay of Bozburun.
He's also a Scouser from Liverpool, so he also taught them how to box when you're drunk and how to nick cars and pick locks as well. Hey.
You and me, we're family. No matter how far away we've grown to be.
Okay, so thank you for everybody for watching these videos, and thank you for sharing them. Thanks especially to the patrons for helping us to get the equipment to create these videos, to edit and then produce them, and also to get ice creams for the children to keep them out of the way so we've got time to create these video vlogs. Thanks a lot.
And if you want to do it, do it.